All right, so we got our second injury report of the week. This is our Thursday injury report, which again kind of spells the more of the message on whether or not these players will play. If they miss Wednesday's usually a walkthrough. It's usually not too big of a deal. Thursday is a huge deal, and then Friday is kind of like the final nail in the coffin. So T. Higgins with his hamstring injury did not practice on Wednesday or Thursday. He is probably not going to play on Sunday. Now, this is really not that surprising with the fact that this is, literally his potentially last game with us. I think we will franchise tag him again, but that's just my personal opinion. We might not franchise tag him, and he could potentially leave us. So it definitely does suck. But there's no reason for him to go out there, play on a hamstring in a meaningless game at the end of the day, get hurt, and then potentially, not be healthy for free agency. So he's going to want to try to rest up as much as possible for March when free agency does hit, unless we franchise tag him. But again, there's just no reason to really put him out there or force him to go out there when he doesn't really need to. Jamar Chase did practice in full on Thursday, and he made a statement yesterday saying that he's 100% going to play this weekend. He wants to get 100 receptions, which is obviously very reasonable to right now what he has. And yeah, so he wants to finish off the season, and he wants to show by leadership. So very awesome to see that, and very exciting to see him out there on Sunday. Again, even though it's a meaningless game, at least we got our, Uno out there. Uno, 7-Eleven. Man, there's so many different nicknames for Jamar Chase. Cheeto was limited in practice on Thursday. He still has his shoulder injury, and he is on pace to play this upcoming weekend. We'll see, though. He is also another player on contract year, another free agent at the end of the season. So it's, again, one of those things where it's like, if you don't think the Bengals are going to bring you back, should you go out there and practice, or should you not? It's always a question. I'm sorry, should you go out there and play that practice? Should you go there and practice, play? It's really up to the player at the end of the day. Jalen Davis, full participant in practice on Thursday, limited on Wednesday. He has a groin injury. Joe Mixon got an illness and did not practice yesterday. We'll find out what he does today. Kind of be the final nail in the coffin today. Jake Browning, full participant in practice after showing up on the injury report on Thursday with a foot injury. So we'll see what happens in the end there. For their side, Joe Antonio, oblique knee injury, did not practice on both days. Most likely will not play this weekend. They're also going to be resting their starters, so it doesn't really matter. Amari Cooper also did not practice. He had another rest day. Again, yeah. I know Joe Flacco, I think he's going to play like maybe 1 to 2, maybe 3 snaps, they said. So he was a full participant in practice on both days. He should be playing this weekend for his 3 snaps he's going to get. But players like Mike Ford, who potentially could play this weekend and with them being backups, did not practice on Thursday with a calf injury. So we'll see how that ends up going out. Jerron Harmon, another guy who could play this weekend, did not practice on Thursday with an ankle injury. Dustin Hopkins did not practice on both days. And Kareem Hunt, who should not get any playtime this weekend because he's the backup running back. No, he's the starting running back now because Nick Chubb's out. So he should not be getting much at all this weekend. Elijah Moore, concussion, also should not, but he has to test out a concussion protocol anyway in order to play. Greg Newsome, knee injury, did not practice on both days. He's a starting corner. He's not going to play. David Ochoku had an illness. Did not practice on Wednesday, limited on Thursday. Again, like I said, these are all players. I'm going to just go down this list here. None of these guys are going to be playing anyway. Marquise Goodwin could play. He was limited on Thursday. Very potential. He probably will be the starting receiver for the team on Sunday. So we'll see if he can play with his knee injury. And then Shelby Harris will not play. Potential Jordan here would be playing, but did not practice on Thursday with a calf injury. But it looks like Wednesday he had no injury, so kind of monitor that. Juwan Thornhill is the starter. He will not be playing this weekend. So, again, like I said, it's kind of weird when it comes to Week 18 because you have to look at who's a starter, who's a backup, who could play, who couldn't play. Because of injuries and players, leaving the season because of injuries, some players who you might think aren't starters or backups are actually starters. So it's like so many different hoops to go through when it comes to this stuff. But man, Cleveland, I feel bad for you guys because listen, you go into the playoffs and you guys have a list of injuries. And I mean, I feel like every team does to this point except for Baltimore, ironically enough. Kansas City, ironically enough. Bills, they have some key players out. They do actually. Miami, they have some key. Yeah, they just lost Chubb for the season. Yeah, so every team right now except for Baltimore, pretty much. Baltimore and KC have like key injuries of players out that could potentially ruin the playoff odds. Even the Steelers have guys out if they do end up making the playoffs. Jacksonville as well. But guys, I will be live on Saturday. Okay, so I'm going to be live on Sunday for the game, right? But I will be live on Saturday for the Ravens-Steelers game. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going out there, man, and we're going to root on those Baltimore Ravens. We're going to hope for a tie. We're going to hope for a tie in that game because a tie knocks the Steelers out of the playoffs. Doesn't. No, we'll go for a tie. So we're going to root for a tie on Saturday because we do not want... I don't want the Ravens to win. I don't want the Ratbirds to win, but I also don't want the Squealers to win, man. So let's go for the tie. A tie would knock them out of the playoffs. And as long as Jacksonville or Miami wins, or sorry, Jacksonville or Buffalo wins, then Steelers will be knocked out. And that's all I really want going into this year is just the Steelers to get knocked out of the playoffs. Before our game, well, actually, ironically enough, it's not even before our game versus them, right? We played them week 16. No. It's after the Chiefs game. After the Chiefs game, Steelers fans had flooded my comic section, talking all this trash about, oh, the Steelers knocked you out. The Steelers knocked, like, the Chiefs knocked us out, but there is so much talk from Steelers fans after that. So nothing would be more entertaining to me, nothing better than seeing the Squealers get knocked out too. Because at first I was like, after week 16, I'm like, all right, whatever. Squealers gonna make the playoffs. Might be funny because then I could root against them to lose the first round and walk away, kind of like they did versus the Browns way back in the day with Baker Mayfield when they started off 11-0. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And then they flooded my comic sections, so it is back to absolutely wanting nothing but pain for Squealer fans. So, let's go. Let's go for a tie, Ratbirds. Let's go for a tie. That's the best thing I can give you at this point. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.